This is a poker game like no other, as the greatest female players in the world go head to head. Watch out for sly smiles, coy looks, and some unbelievable bluffing. There's an art to this game, and the ladies show us just how it's done. With no prize for coming second, it's all to play for here in the heat stages of the Party Poker Women's World Open 2. Good evening. This is the Party Poker Women's World Open 2, and I'm thrilled to be joined, and we'll be commentating with my favorite raconteur, jongleur, and poker player, Norman Pace.
Oh, merci bien, monsieur.
And Norman, we've watched a couple of these heats already, you know, and of course the winner goes through to the final table. But tonight, the defending champion is on the table, someone who you, I think, know pretty well.
Vaguely familiar with the one who calls herself Beverly Pace. Yeah.
Your wife, now, she played great last year. What was the keys to her victory, you think?
Well, I think strong play in position, great hand-reading skills, and a mafia contract on the other 5 women. That seemed to work.
You obviously were a little bit nervous watching her from the green room last year. How's it going to be to commentate on her play?
Well, I've watched her many times in all the movies she's made in Bangkok and Amsterdam, so this should be minor by comparison. Now, I do get a bit nervous for her, but she's a good player and she doesn't need my help.
And the key coming in 2 cars, I imagine.
Yes, and also she won't hear my commentary until this goes on the air, so I've got time to escape.
Well, she's not the only one at the table, so let's meet the players. Nice setting, nice evening, and we think some very nice poker on tap, Norman. Should be a lot of fun. And of course, the big question, can we have a repeat champion this year? Of course, seat number 1, Beverly Pace. I've been watching Beverly play for years. She's only gets better and better. What do you know about her game?
I know nothing. I know she's a stranger to me, Jessie May.
I don't believe you. She's got a great solid game, which I think belies that she can also be very aggressive and make moves. But this is going to be a tough table to get through. Chips on the table. The yellow chips are always worth 1,000, the blues worth 2, and the reds worth 5,000 apiece. There's 100,000 in front of each player as a starting stack, and you must garner 600,000 to get to that final table.
Ooh, garner, I like that.
Last time, I believe we had a very aggressive game. Everything was raise and take it. I feel like this table is full of a lot of, well, not unaggressive players, but steady.
Yeah, well, you never know. People do change their game. You know, last year I remember Kara Scott played, and I thought she was a rock, and she was all over the table, raising and re-raising all over the place.
Cool.
A limp in from Skilly, and that's kind of brought everybody calling.
Yeah, it's one of those. We didn't see much of that in the last heat. There were too many people raising, but we're going to see 3-handed pot here, and Stora has very conservatively just allowed the flop to show with King Queen. I wonder if that's how she's going to play.
Yeah, you know, between Beverly, Debbie Rogers, Debbie Clark, Eliza, I'm guessing, you know, this table probably has, a good 50 or 60 goes at this sort of one-table format, which really gets you familiar with it. King on the turn.
Yeah, well, that's hit 2 hands there. India with the King Queen is ahead, and of course it hits
6,000?
Debbie Rogers' hand with the King 9, who must fancy her chances of taking this one down. I can see her calling here.
Yeah, but the bet has come from Alba Casucci with only 10 high.
Yeah, she's been talking to her fella Andy Pyra. He's known for his pyrotechnics. That was a pun, Jessie, sorry.
Actually, I think Alba's done with it. She's drawing dead. And the question really is going to be whether India Storar tries to get extra value out of this.
Well, that might stop the action now. You know, the girls have got no longer got top pair, and everybody's scared of an ace because a lot of people stay in with a bare ace. We know that that isn't the case, but I can see them not putting any more money into the pot, and so it is. And that will settle India down, who's probably the least experienced at the table. She takes down a nice pot there, and yeah, let's see if we can see anything on her face there.
She's a 23-year-old investment banker from Chester, India. Haven't seen her on the poker scene before, but she has been playing for a few years.
Yes, her boyfriend is a fine player. I don't like naming names on the television, but it's Nick Purcell, I think.
Aha.
I made a terrible mistake with a pair of glasses on once with a heart and a spade.
It's awful when you made a mistake. Then if your hand gets shown, you've genuinely made a mistake and it looks like you're totally at it.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that?
Yeah, absolutely. Awful.
Cool. Cool. Pass. 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 No raise.
This is a limped flop, 3 in plus the small blind.
4,000.
And this, so far, the game's gone rather honestly. I'd say the best hand has won most of the pots.
Yeah, well, this is an interesting one because we have a draw for Debbie Rogers, an open-ended straight draw there. Liza Burnett has top pair. She's bet it for value, and Debbie has called. So, and now she hits top pair. So.
I'm actually quite surprised Liza is betting this here. I mean, not that it's a bad bet, but it's early. She might want to exercise pot control, and that hits a lot of hands that would have called her.
I think that's completely correct because what you don't want to do is bet and get check raised. What do you do if you're check raised? No, if she checks behind and controls pot, the hand has showdown value there.
Liza needs to hit a 10 as her best card, as it turns out.
Well, that might stop the action a little, actually, Jessie, because Liza might well be playing a 9 there. Either of them might be, so no more money goes in the pot. And I think you'll find Debbie takes this one down.
Skilly's got the winner. And it's going to be, I think that probably is going to take Debbie Rogers back into touch, near about where she started.
Different language version.
For all Debbie's ministrations, because the blinds are so low and the other players are playing very defensive poker, I mean, you know, she's only really picked up about 20,000 in chips. That's nothing to sneeze at, but you know, the fact is the pots have been quite small. There's not that much to win.
I was just thinking the same. No big pots so far. When there is a big pot, you're going to think it's going to be 2 big hands that get involved.
One limp, one lump, and this has just brought everybody, and we're
Sorry.
we're only a knuckle away from a family pot.
Commentator's nightmare now. We have to look at the flop and try to match it to 5 hands. Over to you then. Oh, 6 hands. They're all in it.
They are.
Oh my God.
Check. Check. Check.
And
check.
I don't see a king.
No.
Check. Check. And check.
Check.
Well, Beverly now best hand,
Yep.
but you know, this is the
Check.
6.
I say it's the kind of pot that
Cool.
you can sometimes you can get in a lot of more trouble than you can. You're not really interested in protecting your hand that much, are you? You just don't want to lose too much.
No.
And that's why Beverly didn't raise.
No, she's just calling. She's basically looked across at Debbie and said, I got a piece of this. You've been at it. Let's see who's ahead. Well, I hope it's no ace or a 4. No. But the flush, the possible flush is there now. That should calm them both down. Beverly could have called to hit the flush. Debbie could have been betting the flush draw. So now it depends on the size of her bet as to whether Beverly will call this or not, given the board.
24.
I think if Debbie had come straight out there and made a good sized bet, she could get off. But she's showing a lot of hesitation here. This isn't easy. I wouldn't
Beverly
blame.
say, are you bluffing me then?
It's a tough call. You know, The fact is, there's a lot of hands that beat her. I mean, even a 10 with a bigger kicker.
She calls.
Wow.
Good call.
That is a good call. I don't know.
10.